Breaking news from around your world on this Wednesday, July 17th, 2019. I'm Larry Rice. The Mexican drug kingpin Joaquin El Chapo Guzman was sentenced Wednesday to life behind bars in a U.S. prison, ending the drug lord's notorious ability to kill, bribe, or tunnel his way out of trouble. A federal judge in Brooklyn, New York, handed down the sentence 5 months after Guzman's conviction in an epic drug trafficking case. The guilty verdict in February at Guzman's 11-week trial triggered a mandatory sentence of life without parole. Guzman was also ordered to pay $12.6 billion in ill-gotten proceeds, money his drug trafficking organization made distributing cocaine and other drugs around the United States. He will likely spend the rest of his life at a federal prison in Florence, Colorado, better known as ADX Florence, the nation's most secure Supermax prison. No one has escaped from the prison since it opened in 1994, and Guzman would join a long list of the most infamous of criminals who call it home. The 62-year-old drug lord, who had been protected in Mexico by an army of gangsters and an elaborate corruption operation, was brought to the U.S. to stand trial after he twice escaped from Mexican prisons, once by arranging to have a mile-long tunnel constructed from his cell. A federal judge in Chicago on Tuesday ordered embattled R&B singer R. Kelly held without bond on new indictments accusing him of abusing young girls over decades. Kelly was first charged with child pornography 17 years ago, and 5 months ago he was released from Cook County Jail on sexual abuse charges. In the new case, a U.S. district judge's decision marked the first time Kelly was forced to remain in custody for an extended period. Prosecutors argued that Kelly, who was 52, should be held pending his trial because he posed a serious flight risk due to the fact that he could face life in prison if convicted. Pakistan on Wednesday arrested a radical cleric and U.S. wanted terror suspect implicated in the 2008 Mumbai attacks, just days ahead of Prime Minister Imran Khan's trip to Washington. Officials said Hafiz Saeed was taken into custody in Punjab province while traveling from the eastern city of Lahore. Saeed founded the Lashkar-e-Taiba group, which was blamed for the Mumbai attacks that killed 166 people. The United States had offered a $10 million reward for Saeed's arrest, and Washington recently stepped up pressure on Islamabad to crack down on terror groups. Pakistan is currently on the Financial Action Task Force's gray list, denoting its status as a haven for money laundering. It has until October to avoid blacklisting. Prime Minister Khan was to leave Washington over the weekend on his first official visit to the United States as Premier of Pakistan. 19 suspected mafia members were arrested early Wednesday as part of a joint operation between Italian police and the FBI's New York bureau. Italian officials said their investigation revealed strong links between the Sicilian mafia of Palermo, known as Cosa Nostra, and American organized crime families, particularly the Gambino crime family of New York. The operation, codenamed New Connection, involved more than 200 officers in Palermo and New York City. 18 suspects were detained in Sicily and 1 suspect detained in New York. Charges included association with organized crime, extortion, and fraudulent transfer of valuable goods. Around $3.25 million worth of real estate and other assets were confiscated by Italian authorities. The investigation also revealed how pervasive the influence of the mafia is in the Sicilian town of Passaregano. According to Italian police, the mafia not only engages in extortion there, but also has a large role in the town's legal economy, with its involvement in businesses such as wholesale food supplies, online betting, and gambling. Millions of people are stranded by flooding in northeast India, with concern growing about food and water supplies. And officials said on Wednesday that water levels of a major river were rising even further. Government officials said at least 5.8 million people have been displaced, 1 million more than on Monday, and some 30 have died in the past 2 weeks in the tea-growing state of Assam due to monsoon rainfall. Many thousands in the state are making do with only the most meager food supplies and dirty water. Assam has been the worst affected part of India. Floods have also hit neighboring Nepal and Bangladesh. At least 153 people have been killed in India, Nepal, and Bangladesh. Parts of Pakistan have also seen flooding. The rains in North India usually last from early June to October, with the worst of the flooding usually later in the season. President Donald Trump said the United States will not sell Turkey any F-35 jets after the Middle Eastern country purchased a Russian missile defense system. Speaking to reporters during a cabinet meeting, Trump said, "We are now telling Turkey we're not going to sell you the F-35 fighter jets." The decision came after Turkey decided to take delivery of 9 S-400 Triumph surface-to-air missile defense systems from Russia last week. The system is designed to destroy aircraft, cruise, and ballistic missiles, including medium-range ones. The S-400 system can hit targets at a distance of around 250 miles and at an altitude of up to 22 miles. Turkey signed a $2.5 billion deal with the Russian government in April 2017 to the dissatisfaction of the United States, which had warned its NATO partner of repercussions if the deal went through. The United States also threatened to impose sanctions against Turkey in reaction to the deal. Trump didn't comment on potential sanctions during Tuesday's cabinet meeting. Acting Defense Secretary Mike Esper said he told Turkish officials, "You can either have the S-400 or the F-35. You cannot have both." The European Commission on Tuesday elected Ursula von der Leyen of Germany to be the first woman to lead the bloc in its 61-year history. Von der Leyen replaces outgoing President Jean-Claude Juncker, whose 5-year term comes to an end in October. The German defense minister earned 383 votes, 9 more than the absolute majority required. Von der Leyen is a member of the center-right European People's Party and is a close ally of German Chancellor Angela Merkel. The center-right won a plurality of seats in the European Parliament's May election, slightly more than the Socialists and Democrats. The Parliament, the legislative branch of the bloc, elected Italian journalist David Maria Sassoli as its president earlier this month. John Paul Stevens, the third longest-serving Supreme Court justice in U.S. history, died Tuesday in Florida of complications from a stroke. He was 99 years old. Nominated to the Supreme Court by President Gerald Ford, he served 35 years before retiring in 2010. Stevens told the New York Times in 2007 that, "As part of my general politics, I'm pretty darn conservative," but he ended up leading the liberal wing as the court moved right. He was known for standing up for the rights of individuals. Born in 1920, the Chicago native served in the Navy during World War II as a codebreaker and graduated at the top of his Northwestern University School of Law class. Following his retirement, Stevens wrote 3 books, including 6 Amendments, How and Why We Should Change the Constitution. Funeral arrangements have yet to be announced, but he will be laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery next to his wife Marianne, who died in 2015. Neuralink, a company set up by Elon Musk to explore ways to connect the human brain to a computer interface, has applied to U.S. regulators to start trialing its device on humans. According to Musk, the system has been tested on a monkey that was able to control a computer with its brain. The device the firm has developed consists of a tiny probe containing more than 3,000 electrodes attached to flexible threads thinner than a human hair, which can then monitor the activity of 1,000 neurons. The company said it wanted to focus on patients with severe neurological conditions. Musk envisions a future of superhuman cognition, saying that connecting the brain to an interface would create a new layer of superintelligence in the human brain, something people already have via their phones. Neuralink released a paper to coincide with the announcement, but it has not been peer-reviewed, something that is generally seen as a crucial part of any new scientific breakthrough. And that's your update for this Wednesday, July 17th, 2019. I'm Larry Rice. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.